Good morning, this is Emmitt, and we are in Highland Village today doing a mole treatment. The gentleman at this house tells us that the moles have been in his yard for about 2 years. We have found mole activity in the front, the back, and the side, around the pool, just about everywhere. So today what we did is we have treated the tunnels that run just under the surface of the yard with a bait called Talprig, made by Bell Laboratories in Madison, Wisconsin. And you can see the active ingredient here is bromethylene. It's an interesting bait. They pour it in here, but then as I pull them out, you can see they have the texture of a worm.
Yeah, looks like fishing worm.
Yeah, looks like a little fishing worm, just not the color of old night crawlers. But and once they consume a worm, they'll die within about 24 hours.
Okay.
If I've done a good job of putting them in the right place.
Tunnels.
Yeah. Yeah. This bait simulates worms, which are the primary food source for moles. Well, what we have in this area is called the gray or common mole, and it has a long, slender nose, and the mouth is set back from the nose. The front legs come out to the sides with wide paddled paws with long nails on them for digging. You don't see the eyes or the ears because they're covered by fur. This mole that we have here is one of the most aggressive moles, feeding on insects and worms all day and night. They don't look like anything like mice. People find them in their pools, and I get calls because they don't know what they found in their pool. It's usually a mole. I don't do trapping. I try to use the baiting technique and sometimes repellents. So if I can move them out of an area like somebody's front yard is getting damaged and looking horrible, we'll use repellents and try to get them out of a yard, maybe get them just where they're feeding in the backyard. I don't like to just run them out of a yard because then the neighbors know a situation and then they're just back in your yard. It's just temporary at best. I'd like to see if I can kill them. Like, well, have I got a dozen here? What have I got? The biologists say that an acre will, about 2 or 3 cover an acre. And they can tunnel about 100 feet a day while they're feeding. So, of course, it's tunnels like this, and they're subsurface. You have subsurface tunnels where they're feeding, but then they have deeper tunnels. And it's not possible always to get bait deep. And that's their main runways or tunnels, is down below. That's the ones they repeatedly go through. So when we start looking for them, the main tunnels, which is where I want to get the bait, I start looking around borders. So I'll, like right there, there's a tunnel there. Come here and just poke that right there. Just go over here and poke. You'll feel it drop. So you wouldn't even know that was there.
This whole thing's
And that actually is a main tunnel. That's down about 3 inches, and it's clean and well run. You wouldn't even know a tunnel was there. Moles or a main tunnel. They're very active along the foundation because of the moisture along the wall. So we're putting the bait down in the tunnels and then just kind of covering up the hole that we've made. Sometimes the tunnel, a deep tunnel, is not always next to a border. Like this one, you can see I probed, here's a border. I probed here, nothing, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, and then I probed here, and there's a deep tunnel about 4 to 5 inches down in the ground. So we have a runway running along here, and it's not even pushing the ground up, so they're not feeding. It's not a feeding tunnel. It's just a tunnel that they travel regularly on in to get to the other feeding tunnels. Subsurface tunnels where they're feeding for worms and insects. So baiting those, they may come back down that and they may not. Most of the time they don't. So I don't even bait them. I try to find these main tunnels that are at least that far down. because I know they'll be running regularly up and down those. And that always kind of blows people's mind. They don't see me doing anything out where the damage is at.
Yeah.
But that's not where I'm going to get control.
Yeah.
And what I have found from my own experience is I'll do 3 treatments, one every 3 to 4 weeks, up to 3 months. And I'll guarantee that for 4 months. Sometimes I come back and I end up making another treatment or 2 in that span.
Is that moles eat roots and bulbs? They don't.
Shrews, voles, and we have them. We have voles, but and we have in some areas where it's really sandy loam gophers. But one thing to tell between a gopher and a mole is, and a mole mound is like a volcano. They push the dirt up right through the center, and a gopher pushes it up more like a half moon. So the hole's over here, and they're pushing the dirt kind of around like this. We treated today and used a significant amount of bait. We're going to come back in about 3 to 4 weeks and check the yard again and treat if necessary, and then in about 60 days come back and check the yard and treat again. Our goal is to eradicate the moles in this area, and hopefully the homeowner will not have to deal with these as they mow their yard. Thank you for watching this video today.